Good morning, all of you, and welcome to my presentation. It's about connecting the dots, big data, artificial intelligence, and the climate change. And so, let's see. So this is a very famous quote by a big guy. When it comes to environment, big data helps us connect the dots by realizing what we have lost, what we have gained, where we will be if we don't do anything or we don't change, what we can do and what we must do, and most importantly, help realize who we are. And you want to know who the guy is?
Gaurav Bansal.
Yes. Thank you. So you are, see, I told you this is a famous quote, and you knew it. Okay. So this is about big data. Big data means like kind of you have a big volume of data coming in, a very high speed, and all type of data. You have pictures, you have text, Excel sheets, structured, unstructured, coming from devices, from sensors, and then people doing analytics, analyzing the data and making sense of the data, and everything going on cloud, on real time. So this is the world of big data. But the good thing about, one more thing about big data is, which brings me over here in this room today, is that it's also about business, social work, history, sciences, geography, humanistic studies, and all that leads to boundless storage, because we've got cheap computing, cheap computers to store our data. Democratization of data. The data is coming from different fields, every aspect of our life, and democratization of programming, and people from all over these, not only from sciences, but also from text, humanities and history, all using some kind of a programming to make sense of the world around them. So that makes it very, very exciting and also very, very relevant to all of us in this room. So this is a paper got published by Hassani in this year, where he relates that how is big data connected to the studies on climate change. So I mean, people are looking at climate change. So he talks about that big data leads us to observe phenomena, like observe CO2, observe the tree, how many trees we are losing, observe extinction, observe species, do DNA, So that part is there, value creation. So you understand, you make some predictions and things like that. And this part is application. So you apply it to energy, you apply it to natural disasters, you apply it to farming, agriculture farming, and you apply it to natural disaster, urban planning. So one side is application, one side is you make sense of your world, right? Are you with me so far? Okay. But I want to add two more things to this graph. One is, so all this value creation part is basically helping us to understand who we are so that we can change our attitude, right? And then the application part is basically saying, okay, we need to take some action, right? Now, I'll talk about that quote, which said what we lost, what we gained, and who we are. So I will focus on three things of that big quotation. What we lost. So let me start with what we lost. Then I will go talk about what we gained. And then I talk about ending is who we are, okay? So what we lost. So big data analysis shows that our planet lost equivalent of 40 football fields per second, minute, hour, day, or month last year in the tree cover. Because now we have big data, we have all this satellite images, we have a lot of data now. So this is part of the big data analysis. We can compare the pictures and analyze what's happening now, right? So I want to do a quiz. How many go for A? A, second, okay. 40 football field per second we lost last year. Per minute, B, how many for B? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. How many for hour? C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. Day, 2, 1, 2, 3, and month, okay, nobody for month. That looks like people more pessimist, they think that we are losing more. Okay, let's find out the answer. The answer is minute. And there's a reason to be pessimist here. So we lost 40 football fields of tree cover all over the world, not just in I think US we basically the same, I guess, more or less. But outside US, this is very, very concerning. Okay, analysis suggests that Homo sapiens, we all are Homo sapiens, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. We know that. So analysis suggests Homo sapiens got brains. There were many other homogeneous species, but we are the Homo sapiens. We got brains about 75,000 years ago. Roughly how many bird species got extinct as soon as we got the real intelligence? So you can guess how many for 5%? A. 10% B. That means of the species, animals, birds, insects, some of them became extinct because somebody got intelligent. Because somebody now needs a house, more resources, and that person knows how to extract. So some people got hurt. Not people, but some species got hurt. So your question for you is how many species got extinct? 5%, 10%, 25%, 50%? A, anybody? A, B, 10%, 25% anybody? 25%, 50% anybody? Oh, okay, so the answer is 50%. So as soon as we got intelligent, and the reference is this book, I enjoyed reading this book over my summer, wonderful book, and my presentation is inspired by this book. Yes?
How many would have gone extinct if humans weren't there? Like, there were no, what's baseline extinction?
Then it would happen because of natural phenomena, not because of Homo sapiens.
But did you get a sense of how many would have gone extinct?
Yeah, we can work on that, future book, yeah. Okay, so the idea is that this book I came across on Amazon. I was searching for a book on artificial intelligence, and I got this book, and I was reading it very intricately, and there was no mention of artificial intelligence in this book. And I finished the book, and I said, man, it did not even talk about artificial intelligence. Up until yesterday, it came to me, and I will share you the thought that how this book relates to artificial intelligence at the end of my presentation. I will tell you that. Okay. One more question. There were 6 human species that existed when we got the real brains, 75,000 years ago. How many human species existed about 35,000 years ago? How many for 1? How many for 2? Can you name the second one? We are one, Homo sapiens. Who is the second one? Okay, don't worry. How many for 4? 4. Okay, the answer is, we got intelligent 75,000 years ago, and during that 40,000 year period, so by 35,000 years ago, what happened? We are the only one left. We got rid of our competition, right? Good, very nice job, you winner, yay, Homo sapiens. So, over 2.5 million years of human evaluation and 35,000, well, not 35 plus 2 BC, something like that. Anyway, around 35,000 years of solo Homo sapiens rule. Which species were intact up until yesterday? Yesterday, I mean 50, 60 years. Airbound, landbound, or waterbound? How many for A? They were intact, nothing happened to them. Airbound species like those who fly, landbound, animals, mammals. And how many for C, waterbound? How many for A? Okay, let's go with A first. A, okay, B. How many for C? You're right, if you chose C, you know why? Up until yesterday, our fishes and our marines, they were safe because Homo sapiens did not go into water to kill fishes, to extinct them. They were trying to get rid of insects and honeybees and things like that, but so far, up until yesterday, the fishes were pretty much intact for 2.5 million years. Nobody touched them. The marine species, they would go, I have to rush. So I connect the dots. So extinction leads to climate change, and climate change leads to extinction. So that is my connection of talking about extinction in this presentation. And since I used the slide, it had 3. So I thought, what should I put over here? And I was thinking, man, nothing comes in between. Climate change and extinction, they happen. Maybe time comes in between. Over time, you will see changes. Okay. Then, what we gained. So we lost. So big data helped us to understand what we lost, because this analysis could not have been possible without this computing power. What we gained? We gained CO2. And the big data is helping us to analyze how that CO2 has been gained over years. So for 800,000 years, they analyzed the data using the ice and the glaciers. So from 800,000 years up until yesterday, I mean, when did CO2 level start to rise? How many for A? How many for B? 400 years, yeah, that makes sense. Industrialization happened, steam engine came in. Okay, C, 40 years ago, and D, 4 years ago when I became 10-year-old professor. Nobody for D? Okay, how many for C? Okay, and how many for B again? Okay, more for B. The answer is C. 40 years ago, they were basically flat up until 40 years ago. Something happened in 80s, the EPA came in. So the EPA actually, I wouldn't want to say anything, but something happened at that time. So this is the analysis. So now the big data is helping us to observe what is happening, right? So this all happened in last 40 years. This is the CO2 for last 800,000 BCE. Okay, good. So what we gained? We gained more plastic in our oceans. So our satellite can take pictures and we can actually analyze those pictures now and count. And my friend Brian does that, right?
Not plastic, but yeah.
Yeah, satellite images, look at count how many.
Yeah.
So they counted 5.25 trillion pieces. So everybody on the earth roughly has 1 billion pieces, 1,000 pieces of plastic in ocean for every person living on the earth, approximate. But that is what, it has been floating, but some has sunken down. That has not been counted. But hopefully, one day we will count. Now I go to my third part of my presentation. How are we more similar than different? How the big data is help? Because we need to analyze, understand that we are from this environment. We are not separate. So that understanding has to come. That if the environment gets damaged, we can't survive without this around us. So how are we similar? So the cow. How much are we similar to cow? Number? Yes.
We always depend on the land.
Let's look from DNA perspective. How much similar we are? Pretty similar. David, I'll put you on the spot. Give me a percentage.
Oh, 82%.
82%, you are right. I got 80%, but pretty good. So 80% we are cow, overlap. With grass, we are 60%. So the idea is that we can now actually kind of quantify using data and analysis that how similar or different we are. So you will find that we are more similar than we are different. Neanderthals, they got extinct when the Homo sapiens became the ruler. We are 99.88% similar. This is Vivekanand, coming from India. In 1800 something, he said that all differences in the world are of degree, not of kind. Because oneness is the secret of everything. So he said this at the end of 1800s when there was no big data. So now the DNA analysis is showing just that. It is just a matter of degree, 80%, 99%, 99%. Otherwise, we are all basically made up of same material. So on the flip side, sometimes in not so distant future, a professor will be standing here asking students, and we will survive till then, I tell you. So the question is, how many species went extinct when Homo sapiens got rewarded with the artificial brains? So 50% got extinct when we got the real brains. So in future, somebody will ask, how many species went extinct when Homo sapiens got artificial intelligence, basically? How many will say 10% or 20% or 50%, one of those? Well, I don't know the answer. All I know is, let's save the planet while we still can. Thank you.